Welcome, everyone. I am Joanna, the founder of Luna Serenity, and I'm so grateful to be here with Dr. Noelia Rodriguez. She is the founder of Anew Metabolic Health. And today we're going to be talking about a stage of life that impacts so many women, but goes undiscussed, and that's perimenopause. So, without further ado, welcome, Doctor. Can we talk a little bit about the foundations? Because I know some people are watching this and they're like, perimenopause, like, what is that? How is that different from menopause? Um, so, if you could tell us a little bit about what is perimenopause and what's the difference between that and menopause? I feel like I never even heard what perimenopause was until very recently. I'm 39 and I just heard about it for like the first time a few years ago and still was confused, like, am I in perimenopause? Like, am I too young for that? Sorry, that was a lot of questions. So I'll pause and let you talk now.
No, absolutely. And I really thank you for having me here and thank you to all the women that are listening out there. This is a topic dear to my heart because I have been going through perimenopause without knowing since my mid 30s. So yes, it's not really well spoken in the community. It is actually many people think it's a taboo, something that you just get older and you just get it and you have to push through. And I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to be that way. I think it's extremely important that we understand what is going on in our bodies as we get older. And there's nothing better than knowledge. Knowledge is power. Once you know what's going on in your body, then you can then enable yourself to take next steps. So yes, when it comes to menopause, what people really know and have heard about is, by definition, the clinical definition is when your menstrual period stops for 12 consecutive months. So by definition, that is menopause. So if you've been having issues with irregular menstrual period, um, um, but at some point you stop literally having no menses at all, like no menstrual period for 12 consecutive months, then you have reached menopause. Now, perimenopause is the period before that, and now that is the catch 22. That is the more difficult to diagnose because that period is what a lot of hormonal dysregulations will be happening, but it's characterized by the period in which you start having irregular menstrual periods. You may start experiencing hot flashes, and you may start experiencing irritability, like mood swings and things like that. And just think about late summer going into the fall. Some days are going to be very nice and sunny, and it's typical summer weather. Versus some days are going to start feeling, oh my God, it's a little bit chilly out there. I need to start wearing an extra layer. And that back and forth that you're not sure whether it's still summer or it's early fall, that is what perimenopause is. Now, that is the most simplified version, but I just want you to let you know that every woman experiences this period in a very different way. This is why it's so difficult to actually recognize it. And I just want to let you know that, there are things that, that we can do to help you not only cope, but and the first thing that you're doing here by being here today is by educating yourself about it. And that's great.
So, what are some of the earliest signs or symptoms that women start to notice? I know this, like you said, maybe hot flashes, but what are some of the other signs that people might be like, oh, wait, I'm having that, and not even attribute it to perimenopause?
Listen, I thank you so much for this question because yes, so not everybody that is into perimenopause will have irregular periods. I am one of those that, despite being diagnosed with literally not only perimenopause, I've been told at age 35 that I have infertility issues, and I'm like, how come I get my menstrual period every day on the 28th day? I could tell you exactly when I was ovulating. I can tell you when my period was about to happen. Some days you're spotting, some days you have high flow, or instead of coming every 28 days, you start having gaps, 35, 40 days, 2 months, and 3 months, and then the period comes again. That is the one of the most commonly known. The other ones is, yes, the hot flashes, the night sweat, things like that. But there are other symptoms that many people may not know. And when you go to the doctor, they looked at results, they do testing, and you don't even know what's going on. But palpitations is a big one. Mental fogginess, like you start having brain fogs, like you want to start saying a sentence and you don't even remember what you were about to say. You start forgetting little things here and there. The other one is that we start gaining weight in very weird places, especially the belly and our hips, because of all the hormonal shifts that they are. Then the body start prioritizing saving fat for survival, literally, in those places. So you may be trying to do a lot of things to improve your health, and you may feel like something is changing and you just cannot simply explain it. A lot of hormonal shifts, especially the way that we metabolize things in our body, cortisol shifts and things like that. So yes, definitely you can start noticing things like puffiness and throughout your body as well. And not only that, but difficulty with joint pains, muscle aches, sleep difficulties. All those things are definitely signs. There's actually like more than 40 or plus different types of symptoms that can be due to perimenopause. And as I said before, this is why it's so difficult to actually identify, because it can sound a lot that when you go see the doctor and you start telling all these concerns, it sounds like we may be complaining about too much about life. It's like, oh my God, you're just so tired and stressed about it. You're a mom, you're supposed to feel that way. Now you're getting older, you're supposed to feel that way. And my answer to that is like, well, not really. There are a lot of metabolic changes occurring during this period. So it's really not in your head. Is basically the way I want women to know is that those are little signals that there are shifts occurring in your body, and that we should pay attention a lot closer, because it means that we need to take care of our body a bit different than we used to take care of our body when we were in our early 20s and early 30s.
Like, can you talk a little bit about the connection between cortisol, hormone balance, and even how stress has an impact during this time frame?
um, in our new era of modern society, we are exposed to different kinds of stressors that our ancestors used to be exposed to. And the amount of cortisol that our body is producing nowadays is exponential. And when we go through perimenopause, there are a lot of hormonal changes that occur. Your estrogen and progesterone go a lot lower than they used to. And then cortisol even enhances that, which means if you were struggling with hot flashes, with sleep difficulties, with mental fogginess, then all those things are going to be felt at a higher degree. So it's almost like putting gasoline on fire. So and if we learn different type of reset mechanisms in which we can lower the amount of cortisol in our body, then those things are going to lessen over time. So I just want you to know that there are different strategies that you and I were going to be talking about. You're going to in our upcoming workshop to help you lowering your cortisol levels in a natural way. So just think about cortisol and hormones overall. They are not supposed to be your enemy. They are chemical messengers in our body that are much needed. However, as we get older, the balance of those hormones is lost. So just think about your cortisol level is the stress hormone that you need first thing in the morning so you can actually get up and go on with your day. But what is not supposed to happen is that that cortisol level, rather than being fluctuating and going down overnight, as you actually go to bed and other hormones are supposed to rise. For example, melatonin, this is a little teaser for the workshop, is supposed to rise at night so you can actually feel sleepy and go to bed. That synchrony is lost when you have constantly high levels of cortisol. So if we don't know about it, how we can even target it. So that is the first thing that I will let you know, that hormones are not your enemies. They're chemical messengers. We just need to know what's going on in our body so that we can then not only listen to our body, but then start implementing little practices that can help yourself so it doesn't feel like you are constantly um, working against your own self and pushing through, because you don't have to.
Well, you mentioned it. So, we are doing a workshop. We have a couple of them coming up here in the DC area. So, if you are around and available on September 20th, we will be hosting one at Circle Yoga, and then we have another one lined up for October in Tacoma Park. We're going to be talking about lifestyle nutrition changes. I say we, but it's really Dr. Rodriguez will be talking about that. Can you just tell me really quickly, before we wrap this up, that workshop, the workshops that we're doing together, how do you hope that the attendees are going to feel when they walk away from this experience?
Um, I want them to feel heard. I want them to feel like if they're struggling, they're not alone. There's people out there, the community, in the healthcare system. We have gotten a lot of things wrong, and one of them have been treating people like you, because you're a person, you're just not a patient, right? So I want them to know that there's people out there listening. Why I struggle with the same. So I know what you are going through. We're listening and we're trying to look for strategies. Like me, partnering with you, Joanna, means so much to me, because I I as a doctor know the evidence behind a lot of things that you do, that all the healing powers that our body has. However, um, the inability to actually understand um, the why we do things can then disengage you from implementing them. So my goal is, if you walk away from this workshop understanding a little bit more of what is going on in your body, understanding that it is not in your head, understanding that there is a biology behind how you feel, then you will feel more empowered to then start implementing a plan of self-care and start advocating for yourself, rather than feeling like this is the way I'm supposed to feel because I'm getting older. No, it doesn't have to be that way. So that's what I want people to walk away with. Empower with knowledge. It doesn't have to be all scientific. I am breaking it down to a level that is really digestible, because at the end of the day, you are smart women. And like you, I have been shut down. I have felt unheard and dismissed, to be honest with you. And I love my medical community. I mean, I'm a physician myself, but I felt like I literally had to step away from certain practices to start providing the high level of cares that my clients really need and are looking for. Joanna, I know you for a while now. So as a yoga teacher, sound healer, how do you see stress showing up in women's body?
Yeah, it's interesting. I see it come up in the physical aspect of how people are walking through the classroom. Maybe it shows up as tension in the shoulders, in the jaw, in the hips. It's all places where we are unconsciously holding the weight of our daily responsibilities. And, when I'm opening up classes, I'm always guiding us to do like that physical scan of the body, but also just being noticed, like just to also notice, where's the breath at in the body? Is your breath a little bit more shallow and up in the chest? And the answer is usually yes. Or is
Hmm.
it a little bit deeper and down in the belly? And without fail, whenever I say that, I see people move the breath from the chest down into the belly. It might be the first time all day that they've noticed, like, I'm breathing like I'm panting, right? Like a rather than long, slow breaths. I also see it show up as restlessness and that inability to fully relax, right? And I hear it all the time. Oh, I can't get out of my head. There's too much I have going on. And even though I want to be here, I can't. And so, whenever I'm creating space for people, I'm really trying to create and cultivate a space where people have the permission, they give themselves the permission to slow down, to be here, to do something for themselves. Um, I also noticed that beyond the physical aspect of what I'm seeing people walk through the doors. When they're stressed out, it's also completely disconnecting women from their inner rhythms, from trusting and learning how to listen to their intuition, which also makes a huge impact in how they feel in relation to themselves. Can they feel grounded? Can they feel centered with what is going on in their lives? Or do they feel like there's all this chaos swirling around them? When you're able to find that center in yourself, it makes that all more palatable. I'm not going to say easier. It just makes it like, okay, I'm grounded and now I can look at what's in front of me to decide what is the path that I'm going to take to do X, Y, or Z.
I mean, everything that you've said resonates so much with me because there was a time that I was experiencing so much stress in so many physical ways that I did not know. I mean, at some point, I literally thought I was having a heart attack. And as I'm crying, trying to get hold of my husband, to the emergency room, and I couldn't, and I was trying to get hold of someone just in case I died because literally I thought I was having a heart attack as I was driving. And obviously I didn't. But I have experienced stress in so many different ways, and by implementing, different strategies, as you already alluded to. First of all, it was recognized that what I was experiencing was very stressful, stress throughout the day that I wasn't releasing, so therefore I was seeing it in a physical way. So once I started implementing these little things, it has shifted. And as you said, it's not like the problems are going away. The problems are still there. It's just my experience on a daily basis, my ability to see things more clearer and conserve that energy throughout the day so I can keep enjoying life. So I think that's amazing. So I just want to ask you one more question. What things are you planning to share in the workshop that our women can actually start implementing right away to start feeling better?
During our workshop, my hope and my goal is to really share a variety of different somatic practices, whether it be gentle movement, some breath work, and what I love the most, which is sound healing or sound meditations. With all of these different experiences that I'm going to be pulling in, my goal is to really help people learn how they can start to regulate their nervous system, how they can release that emotional stress. So that way they have different practices that can create that pathway back to present, but also giving people permission to soften, to rest, and really learning how to reconnect with the body's wisdom. It's about giving people the tools that they can take home and an experience of like that deep restorative relaxation in the moment. And so that's what I'm hoping people will be able to walk away with after the workshop. And I think, the beauty of of like us coming together to do this is that you're going to be able to share the science, like how stress, cortisol, and hormonal shifts really impact the body during menopause. And from there, I'll be guiding everyone into practices that are going to support the systems you're talking about, and really giving people that embodied way to create the flow that they need within their lives. But we're going to move between receiving knowledge and having the practice, creating a flow where women aren't just learning about what's happening in their bodies, they get to see what it feels like to be supported in real time. And so I think it's going to be a beautiful blend between the two of us, if I may say so myself, because we're speaking to the whole person, right? Just like you said, a whole human being, mind, body, and spirit. And so we're going to have the clarity we need from the science aspect of it, and then the validation that's needed to really understand and have that sense of compassion, presence, and care through the practices that we're going to be doing together as a group. So I hope you all are able to join us because I think it's going to be a beautiful experience for those coming. And I lost my train of thought. Hello, perimenopause. How people can register. Let me just give you the quick rundown. If you're watching this and you're in the DC area, you can register by going to Circle Yoga, circleyogadc.com, and I'm also going to link it in all of the different places where you can find it. You can find it on my website as well at lunaserenity.com. And make sure to pre-register. Spaces are limited. Even if you're not in the DC area, for this particular workshop, we're actually hosting it virtually as well. So even if you can't be in the classroom with us, you can still register online from wherever you're at in the country or the world for that matter. And in person, we're limited to 14 people, online, unlimited. So if you can't make your way into DC, please make sure to pre-register. And just know that this is your invitation to pause, to learn, and how to nourish yourself during a really powerful life stage. So we're really excited to be doing this together. Dr. Rodriguez, thank you for taking the time to chat and to give people a preview of what is to come. And that's all I got. Anything
Thank you
else you'd
so
like to
much.
say?
Thank you so much, Joanna. No, I think you covered it all, and I am so excited to work in this capacity with you. I think you are a wonderful woman, and I just appreciated everything that you do for our women out there, and I just want to just add on that extra layer. So I think the combination of us working together can be quite powerful. So a virtual hug to you and all the women out there. I hope I can see you guys there.